Scorpion actor and lifelong martial artist Chris Casamassa is here to chat everything Mortal Kombat. I'm a big fan of the game, I'm a super fan of the movie, super excited, let's do it.
Get over here! It has begun!
Mr. Chris, thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate it. Mortal Kombat 1995, awesome movie, awesome times. Can you tell us about your first day on set?
So my first day on set was actually in Thailand. I don't want to say I was hiding. Me and a couple other guys were in the inside the temple when Kano walks through that little temple to get to the fight with Sonya Blade. Me and a couple other guys were inside that, talking trash to Trevor while he was we're trying to make him laugh when he was coming through the tunnel. So my first day on set was actually me just being a banana head. The whole experience was surreal. Every one of us, guys and girls on the cast, wanted that film to really serve justice to the game. We were big fans. All of us were big fans of the game.
That's so cool. Mortal Kombat 2, the arcade game, it already took over the world at that point, right? And I remember there was always a line, to play. We had to put our quarters up on the screen, wait our turn. But it was awesome. And by the time the movie came out, I was all about the intros. Every character in Mortal Kombat is iconic. So I was just so excited to see how they were going to introduce each character. And when you and Sub-Zero, walk into frame for the first time, dude, that was just so epic.
Prior to going and doing more movies and TV shows, I was a professional competitor. I was on the pro tour for martial arts, competing for about a decade, where I ended up becoming the #1 competitor in the country for like 4 years in a row. And then I did a Jerry Seinfeld and decided I'm going to go out on top. And then I retired, and then I transitioned into films and TVs. But when the direction I got was, I want you to walk in as if you've just won the championship at the tournament. And so I'm like, easy. Just come in all attitude and cocky and puffed up, and that was it. So it was a good day.
Yeah, you totally rocked it out. And what went into the whole spear, like the whole hand thing?
The thing in the hand was interesting because during filming, they were still going back and forth. Is it going to be a spear, or are we going to make it this creature? Is it going to be a spear creature? So they just said, listen, we don't know what it's going to be. So they said, just act it out as if it's either one. That's kind of how I came up with the pose. I just took one of our martial arts moves and adapted it. And it became this kind of this wind up thing where I set my hand forward and then drew it back. And then they go, now you got to hold steady, because they're flat. It's called a flat plate. They're plating the shot so that they can do the CGI later on.
That's so cool. And you're a real life martial artist. What did it feel like? What was going through your mind, man? You're there, you're playing an iconic character, you're in this big movie. Was it Disneyland? Did you feel like a kid in a candy store?
You hit that nail right on the head, man. It was a dream come true. I got to do my martial arts on screen in a major motion picture, and I was living the dream. It was awesome.
Yeah. And what was it like working with the creepy eyes?
That was the one part, I'm going to tell you, that's the one part that was not awesome. So again, 1995, nowadays you don't even have to wear contacts. It's just CGI. They put in your thing. But I was wearing real contacts, and it was the least favorite part of the job for me, because the contact lenses were as big as my entire eyeball, not my pupil, but my eyeball. So it took 3 people to put those contacts in me every day. Someone had to hold up my top lid, someone had to hold down my bottom lid, and a third person had to put that thing in there. And when those lenses were in, I couldn't see more than 3 feet in front of me. It was like being in London at midnight in the worst fog storm that you could do. Now, the cool thing was, Lyndon Ashby, who played Johnny Cage, Lyndon and I had rehearsed so much, and he had gotten so good at it, that I didn't need to necessarily see, because we had developed, it's like a dance, right? You develop a rhythm and a timing. This goes here, this goes here, this goes there. And when we did some of the far away shots, I didn't have to have them in, because you can't see my eyes from a distance. So it all worked out. But man, I did not like wearing those things, because when they took them out, I looked like the world's biggest stoner. My eyes were so red and so bloodshot for hours afterwards.
The movie was my introduction to you as an actor. It was also my introduction to Lyndon. I thought he was great as Johnny Cage. I love his intro as well. And with your training, with your experience, did you have to hold back at all when it came to the choreography?
He was not a martial artist, and this is a cool thing about Lyndon is he really did want to come off the screen as a super talented martial artist. So he really dedicated himself to making sure the moves that he had to do were done as good as possible. And to his credit, and I don't know if you know this or not, when the movie was over, Lyndon had come up to me and he goes, "You know what? When this is over, I actually want to keep training. I want you to be my teacher." And I thought, nah, this is movie, like whatever. We're just on the set, and it's like, okay, you're just being kind, blah, blah, blah. But when we wrapped filming, my phone rang. Lyndon called me and said, "Hey, I'm serious. I want to come train." And I trained that guy for almost 2 years. He came every week. He did not miss. And, he made it halfway to black belt with me. And he did a really good job. So he really got into the art for just learning the art and learning how to move his body and for self-defense. So I give him a lot of credit for that.
And how long did it take you guys to shoot that fight?
2.5 weeks or 3.5 minutes of fighting on screen. Yeah.
Was it all shot in sequence?
We shot the master probably 3 or 4 times. Thankfully, we didn't have to do it more than that. And then everything was pickups and inserts beyond that. In the original cut of the movie where he runs at me and does that jumping kick, in the original cut, that kick hit me and knocked me out. So there was no fight. And what happened at the test screening was the test screening audience didn't have any of it. The people in the audience stood up, threw their popcorn at the screen, and walked out. It said there's no way that Johnny Cage could beat Scorpion like that. And so we came back to the States and did the reshoot because of fan feedback is really what happened. And that's why I'm so appreciative of all the fans that have kept Mortal Kombat going and moving all this time.
Again, you're a martial artist, stuntman, but you being the actual character, I mean, was what we saw, was everything you, or did you have to have a stuntman?
It was all me except for 2 parts. One, they wouldn't let me do, and one I had no interest in doing. The part I didn't want to do was the part where in the fight, Johnny Cage flips me backwards and my legs hit this metal bar. That was not me, because I was like, I like my legs too much. I don't want to take a chance. That's not my department. So that stunt guy come in and do that hit. I did the wire work part, but the hit was someone else. The part I wanted to do was the double flip off the platform, but they wouldn't let me. It was too much of an insurance risk because I could do that. I didn't know if I could do a double. I knew I could do a single off the platform, but they wanted a double. So they brought in Olympic gold medalist Mitch Gaylord to do that part. So that part wasn't me. I was doubled by an Olympic gold medalist, which is kind of cool.
And for those who may not know how the industry works, I mean, when it comes to stunts, it's not always because you can't do it or you don't want to do it. It's more about the production. It's about time. It's about budget. If you get hurt, if you get any kind of bruise or mark, everything has to stop, right? So I mean, they want to keep the train moving, right?
That is correct, 100%.
This is so amazing. I remember watching it in the theater for the first time. I've been watching it all week. The characters, the lighting, the music. I mean, it was. I love everything about this movie. It was definitely an awesome time. And super congrats to you and everyone involved in the movie. I mean, super congrats on your training, your success. How old were you when you started training?
I started training martial arts when I was 4 years old. So I've been doing this all my life. So yeah, I tell people, I count on my fingers and I'm like, yeah, I've been doing this 117 years now.
Whoa.
The thing that martial arts is supposed to teach you is discipline, self-discipline. It starts and ends with you. And I heard a great quote about that. It said, see if I can get it right. Your body is a billboard for your discipline. That's the win. You're healthier and you're around on this planet for a longer time because we all get one spin on this globe, right? Every person's responsible for themselves. All of a sudden, this became a deep philosophical conversation, right?
So inspiring, man. Mr. Chris, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It's great to meet you.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Miss Astrid. When she saw the updates for this episode, she sent me a couple of her cosplay photos, Scorpion photos. Miss Astrid, you look amazing. Thank you so much. I love them. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for believing, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.